because you said to me, what are the three things you need to know about resilience? So that threw me into another kind of, okay, so off the top of my head, from everything that I know, it's actually important that there's preparation. It's important that there's relaxation. And ultimately, it's about simplicity. Complex procedures, complex issues simply get in the way.
So his colleagues are coming back to work this week and may have been working over the festive period, but a lot of helping shuts down over the festive period. I wonder what kind of things we can be doing to prepare us to be back in the room with the people that we support. I mean, when I text you yesterday, you're saying, "Oh, I'm on my way back from the gym. I'll need to speak to you later." I hope that's not too much information, but it sounds like that's part of your self-care, the exercise. And
before Christmas, I went down with this cold and flu and stuff, and for 3 weeks, up until just beyond Christmas, I wasn't exercising or anything. So, in fact, the interesting thing is, when you texted me, or when I picked up your text in the gym, I just said, "I'm in the gym. I'll be home in 20 minutes." I was very chilled about it. I think whatever John wants, we can sort this out. If I try and respond now, in the moment, it's going to fluster me because I haven't got everything I need. I can't give John a clear answer to what he's going to be asking, and there are going to be follow-up questions. So I need to be in a place where I can sit down, consider what he's saying, and give him an answer that's going to be useful. Preparation. So knowing you're going to be in the room with your client, if you know the clients because you saw them before Christmas, then it's just about what state do you need to be in as a therapist to provide the best service to your client and access it. And by access it, I mean remember the time when you were relaxed and open. There's a physiological thing here, because in preparation, the blood flow in our physiology stays more balanced. Under stress, blood tends to drain from the brain, and especially the front part of the brain, into the body because we're going to do something. We're either going to fight someone or stress, or we're going to run away.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, we could get caught in the middle, rabbit in the headlights, and we're paralyzed.
So what would we be visualizing? Maybe a time when we've been with that client and we have been relaxed? Is that what you mean? Yes.
Yeah. You know what the client is going to be saying largely, and therefore it's about thinking to yourself, you needn't necessarily be with that client, but a time in your life when you've been relaxed and open, when you've been clear, even though the person in front of you may have been demanding, may have been going into their own trauma, you've been in a place where you've noticed that and you've been able to call them back. Because in that moment, whilst they're in their trauma, you become the model for good health. So you need to practice it. Yeah. And sometimes I remember being in the gym. Sometimes I remember watching a film or listening to Beethoven's My Thing. So, Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony for me is a great way to be able to relax, to pace my breathing, so that when my client goes into panic or distress or trauma, I can think in a few seconds, what's the best response here? What does the client need from me? And it may be that there are 3 or 4 ways of being that will run in sequence. I need to be open, I need to be attentive, and then I need to intervene. I was thinking as you were talking earlier just there, given that our society is becoming more and more kind of fractured, in the sense that more and more individual people having their own individual experiences, Christmas might be the only time of the year when we have a shared experience, be it good or bad. And so therefore that's a good time for rapport, for connecting, whether it's with your clients, or your supervisor, or your supervisee. And that's about that whole preparation. That's the whole thing about relaxing. Yes, we've had this shared experience, and let's keep it simple.